Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by Generals Joe's Reborn.com, with me as your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic AT. For today's episode, I'm all on my own. In this regular video series, I round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, me? Dun, 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 dun. It's the Full Force Weekly. I forgot to actually do that because Pat usually does it. Yes, hello, welcome, good evening. It's a bit weird, I know. I'm sorry about this. We are doing the weekly a day early. Unfortunately, Pat can't be with me tonight because he is at work. So all send your love to Pat, who is, he's busy out there hustling. Anyway, so yeah, I have to do it today because, well, it could have been not at all, is all I'll say, right? Would you prefer not at all, or at least a cheeky one on a Friday night? So yeah, we are going tonight. I'm going tonight on my own with the weekly, which is effectively stuff I've already talked about in the week on my own with you guys already. But whatever, there's a few little new nuggets in there, stuff that hasn't really been kind of discussed through the week. But at the same time, I know this might be a bit repetitive, so I apologize for that. Usually Pat's there to give us another bit of insight, another opinion about things. They do often clash, mine and Pat's now. But like I said, I can't do tomorrow because the over for the weekend. It's going to be great, but we'll be picking them up in the morning. So obviously, can't do the episode tomorrow. So I apologize if it's throwing everyone off and it's all of a sudden it's a Friday night. Brilliant. I like this. Look. Okay. First off, massive thank you for that incredible super chat already. Good start. What a start already. Chucky Tinderbin. Okay. And also, who's Chris McLeod? Genius on many levels. If you haven't seen the news burst from yesterday on Thursday, which was the listings update following the A Toy Kind of Mood Hasbro interview, where we talked about Falcon and Cobra Commander and what have you, then you've got to watch that to understand what's going on. I'm not going to explain it, but that is absolutely genius. Whoever changed their name to Chucky Tinderbin is brilliant. That's great. And also the Who's game, absolutely brilliant. Who's genius? See, everyone's on it already. Brilliant. Nice one, Lightfoot. Right, okay. So, like I said, it's just me tonight, and we're going to get through all of the news from this week, even though I've kind of already done it with you. This is going to be much longer. Why? They're saying. We're going to let's just get right into it and start with a bit of comics news. Anyway, yes, sorry, I love that track. So yeah, here we are. Now, the news, he says, after saying to himself, me, just talking in the third person, which is pretty normal, right? After discussing it in my own head and saying, I better click on the old weekly and open up the document so I know exactly what I'm saying when this comes in, forgot to do that. And now I'm stalling for time, and now I've got it. So Skybound have announced that a very special A Real American Hero compendium set featuring all the original Marvel issues and tie-ins, and that includes yearbooks and Order of Battle and some other stuff, but the Transformers crossover, special missions, all of those good things will all be included in this. Will be coming very soon to Kickstarter. The set will span 4 volumes and be presented in 2 different faux leather Joe or Cobra covers. You can sign up to their campaign to hear about it when it drops via email, and you will receive a special trading card if you pledge for a physical copy when the Kickstarter goes live, of course. You can expect that on Tuesday, May the 28th, 6 a.m. Pacific / 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm glad I'm on the East Coast, because that would suck having to be I'm up 3 hours before then anyway, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, more info is coming soon. Let's have a quick chat about it. Who's Maya Ownhead? Genius. I like it. Anyway, the A Real American Hero Compendium Kickstarter. Yeah, interesting stuff. This was a little bit of kind of, it was a surprise, in all honesty, because of course we knew that we were getting the compendium in a different format, in like a regular retail format. But this, as it's kind of like, when we've read the press release in more detail, as we've kind of gone into more detail with it, as much as we can before we have all the information at hand, it's very clear that this is something a little bit more. It's a bit special. It kind of separates it from the kind of retail release, which would be effectively a standard soft cover compendium. And this compendium set, which is coming up on Kickstarter, is going to be hardback. It's going to be 2 different options of Cobra or Joe kind of faux leather coverings, which I imagine you'll probably be able to get both if you want them as well. So I don't think it'll be one of those things where you've got to pick one or the other. Like, I think you can, bearing in mind it's going to be a lot of money, but you'll have the opportunity, if you wanted to get both, just out of interest, for those that are buying this, and just for those that are, and maybe for those that aren't buying it, but if they were given the choice, would you get Cobra or Joe? I imagine it'd probably be blue and green, right? So it'd probably be like a blue Cobra faux leather, or maybe it's the same and it just has different kind of imprint sort of like logos and stuff on it, like, kind of, I don't know, but again, we don't know yet until we see it. There's also been a cheeky spoiler reveal, which I'm not going to post until tomorrow, because it's regarding the Energon Universe Free Comic Book Day issue. So I don't want to kind of like spoil it for people, and I can only hide the image on X. I can't seem to hide it on like Instagram, or can you hide it on Instagram? Can you do it so it's like hidden, so that when you tap on it, it kind of like shows up? I don't know if you can do that on Instagram, but you can definitely do it on X. I'll probably post it on there, honestly, and then tomorrow post it on the other platforms. Kind of hide it in like comments or whatever. Oh, people are telling me. Okay, here we go. Chris G is going Cobra. Tim Pedersen's going Cobra. Penny Rooster Reviews is going Cobra. Past the Pierogi says Yo Joe. I'm guessing that means he's going Joe. Jody Faust says Cobra. And Yo Pierogi. 36 Cypher says probably Joe. My brother did Cobra growing up, but I'll probably just do both. Nice one. I like it. Yeah. We need spies at Skybound like Kendrick has on Drake. How are we supposed to be fans without leaks? I like that one. Past the Pierogi. And another bit of news as well that just kind of cropped up before I went live is that Jamie Sullivan is going to be working on some Skybound stuff as well, which is brilliant. So great, good shout out to Jamie Sullivan, brilliant artist. He is responsible for one of my favorite comic covers of all time, which is the Ace from above, Sky Striker from above, looking down at Night Ravens underneath, and then like the earth below them. Absolutely gorgeous cover from, I can't remember what issue, but I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. But it's one of my favorite comic covers of all time, and I do have a print of that, which is absolutely stunning, courtesy of the wonderful Jamie Sullivan via some friends who bought it off him and sent to me, which was really nice as a surprise. So very, very awesome stuff. That now, anywho's and Susan, compendium set Kickstarter. What else do we know? We know it's May 28th. It's going to be launching at 6 a.m. on the Pacific, on the West Coast, and 9 a.m. on the East Coast. So if you are interested, make sure you're ready and for it to kind of pop up. And if you go to the link below in the description and sign up, you'll get you'll for like more info and stuff like that. You will kind of get in like the I suppose the kind of like, you'll get the opportunity, because they're doing this for everyone that's going in with this sign up situation, to get a free limited edition Storm Shadow trading card, which is beautiful, and has art by Andy Kubert and Brad Anderson as well. Sorry, I was just doing that thing where I had to read it on the screen, but I believe there are more people that have joined by. I took the screenshot about yesterday, so I'm sure that's gone up quite a lot. But yeah, if you want to sign up for it, this would be the position where if you bought a physical copy after doing the sign up, then you would get that limited edition Storm Shadow trading card. So that's kind of cool to have as well. And there are going to be trading cards in the set as well, I believe, like almost like a full set of these kind of really cool trading cards. That's almost making it more. That's making it like, look, for me, I'm like, yeah, I might have to get a cheeky little compendium set here, and just for those little trading cards. Do we get notifications for signing up? Because I never got one. No, you don't get. I don't think you get a. Hang on, let me double check. I don't think you get a notification for signing up. I think you'll get a notification when it goes live, though. I just have to double check that because I don't think I've had anything. But I could be in the same boat as you, couldn't I? Pass the pierogi. I could be in the same boat. Let me just have a look. I can't see anything. No. No. Don't think so. Don't think so. So, oh, no, you do. Yeah, no, I did. You've joined the G.I. Joe A Real American Hero mailing list. Maybe it's gone to your spam folders. Check your spam folder and maybe you'll find it. It's a Kickstarter, says Digit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they do. I think because they're doing the regular compendium at retail, I think this is a way for those, if there is that much of a demand for this very special thing that they're doing, it would be pretty insane for them to do the compendium this way only. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's a nice kind of way of them to do it without kind of maybe like, well, without too much risk, let's face it, because even though it's been really popular, the Skybound rollout has been amazing so far. The comics have been incredible. Their marketing is great. Like, it's just it's clean and it's nice and it's informative and very video and visual based. It's just great. And so I've been well happy with I've been well happy with how good. Who's Will happy with the with Skybound so far. So I think this is just a way of like, if you are interested, then you can get in on it. But if not, it doesn't, you don't have to. And also, it's one of those things where I think even if people are a little bit wary about it, I still think it's probably going to do quite well. We'll see. We'll see anyway. I'm such a bad judge of Kickstarter campaigns. I really am. I never know what's going to be like super good or super not do anything. Anywho, yeah. So that is a kind of a good thing to try out. And if you haven't got a notification, yeah, it might be a good idea, like I said, to check those spamos. I never got their monthly code for the whole points thing either. Maybe that's in your spam as well, but it might be gone by now. Anyway, yeah, reach out to them, Pastor Pierogi. That might be, yeah, reach out to them because I can't help you. I'm not their customer service, but I'm sure they'd be able. I'm sure they'll hook you up with an email if that is the case, or at least confirm to you, yeah, don't worry, you're on the list, sort of thing. Stygian's going to pass. That's totally cool. I mean, I imagine there's quite a lot of us that don't always get in on the books kind of situation, and especially when we already have them, or if we, if you've bought them in different formats, or if you're just going to go with, like, if you are interested but you want to get the retail one, there's your option. All good. Anyway, some of the artwork that's been kind of shown off for it as well is kind of nice too. So a nice kind of freeze of all the Cobra main crew, not all of them, but a good amount of them, and of course the Joes as well, a nice little Joe version as well. And I like Timber in there as well, looking like a blooming polar bear, basically. Brilliant stuff. Cover girl in the Wolverine, confirmed, yeah. There's so many confirmations going on here, classified wise. Even, I mean, there's just, I love that that's where it goes whenever anything happens. Whenever anything, I know it's a joke a lot of the time, but I love the fact that whenever something gets done art wise, even if it's a custom that goes up, it's like classified, that confirmed. Just makes me laugh. It's gone to the point now where it's for everything, isn't it? Classified underpants confirmed, although we do have classified underpants, so I can't even joke about that without that's real, bruv. But if they make a Dreadnought bat, I'm there all day long. Me too. Me too. Speaking of Wolverine, we need that in classified. We do, Stygian. Absolutely do. I like a leather-bound book as well, Grizzlehorn. My apartment smells like mahogany and is filled with many leather-bound books. Something along those lines. It's been a while since I saw Anchorman 330 times in a row. Cheers. Cheers. I'm buzzing tonight. It's been a weird week. It's been weird, but we're here and it's all good. We made it. We've made it to Friday. And also this one of Duke as well is really cool. Like it a lot. This is this Andy Cuba, I want to say. I know that is because it's got his signature on it. I'm not sure who does that one. I couldn't find. I don't think his signature might be on it there, and I just can't. And I just cut it off. I think it is Andy Cuba. I think it is. Yeah, it is. So he's done those. Ooh, gone too far. So we've got yeah, Duke and Cobra Commander looking rather cool in those shots. I'm sure there's going to be more to those particular shots as well when we get more information and more artwork. Looking forward to it. Anyway, that is the Skybound Kickstarter for the compendium, and I threw in a couple of other things there because I only just really got them before going live, and I just couldn't be bothered to add it at the end of the day. But also, one of them is a spoiler that I didn't want to give away, and the other one is a big shout out to Jamie Sullivan, who is now, and you can see that on our Facebook page, we shared the post, but he is back on the G.I. Joe brand doing some stuff for Skybound. Cannot wait to see his work. Right then, let's get on with it and move on to, you might have already noticed because I've spoiled it a little bit, onto a little bit of disguise costumes news. Nothing crazy biscuits to talk about here, but we'll talk about it anyway still. So Disguise, the costume division of Jakks Pacific, which I always forget that's the thing, but that's how they're always described in every article, and I always forget that's the case, and it just doesn't, they don't kind of like go together in my head, so I'm always surprised for some reason at that statement. But anyway, they renewed their licensing agreement with Hasbro, granting the company continued rights to design, market, manufacture, and distribute costumes and costume accessories throughout North America and Latin America. New additions to a plethora of lines, including G.I. Joe, which is obviously, tantamount to this show, Dungeons and Dragons, Mr. Potato Head, My Little Pony, Peppa Pig, PJ Masks, Transformers, Power Rangers, and more will debut in the fall. Probably for October. That's how they roll. But I'll just do this. So that's on the screen for the most part. Yeah. So again, I don't think everyone's going to be racing out to buy like ill-fitting costumes, although because we're all older now and not kids. But I remember many moons ago getting the Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins Snake Eyes costume in one of these promo boxes. Which one was it? I can't remember which one it was. It might have been that 40th one. No, it might have been this one, this kind of classified-ish one up the top here. I can't remember. I'm just flexing now, aren't I, really? But I remember getting that in the box, and I did the unboxing and then put the costume on, which was hilarious. That thing was toit, I'm telling you now. But I think it was an adult one. It just was not. It didn't want to play ball, literally. Anyway, so yeah, so we're going to be getting more disguise costumes in the kind of G.I. Joe brand. What do we want to see, people? That was what my question is to you in the comments. What do you want to see Disguise do with the G.I. Joe brand? What kind of little ill-fitting costumes do you want? Plus, yeah, some of you guys have kids as well. I'm sure they're going to be well into this kind of stuff. Stygian says my son used to love PJ Masks. What is he too old for ill-fitting costumes now? I'm only joking about the ill-fitting thing. They don't ill-fit. It's just the fact that I was too big for it. But is he a fan of disguise Halloween costumes? Because that would be kind of fun. Or he might be like, I don't know, I might be misjudging completely. He might be about 53. He might be like in his 20s and probably not doing that. I have no idea. Where's our G.I. Joe Peppa Pig crossover, says Ryan. That is a good point, actually. That is a good point. Where is it? My kid loves ill-fitting costumes, says Grizzlehorn. Good. Can we get a Joe Pepper crossover? Road Pepper? Oh, Road Pepper. Yeah. Well, Ryan, Rachel, you're on the same lines there. A Road Pepper Pig would be amazing, or Pepper Road Pig. Pepper Road Pig sounds amazing, doesn't it? Fast Draw. That's what you want out of shelf space. Actually, do you know what? What an amazing costume that would be, especially with all the additional bits that, you know, the missile launchers on the backpack and the little kind of handheld triggers and everything. Oh my word, that would be phenomenal. Grizzlehorn says, nah, he is 9 and loves Halloween. Brilliant. Good. The throwback cheap plastic mask ones, but a cesspool or serpentor would be sick. Yeah, those would be fun. The throwback cheap plastic ones are really funny. We've got a bunch of them. A lot of the French ones. I think we have like Lady J and like Sergeant Slaughter and Footloose, and they've all got like different names. I think like Footloose. What was his name? Like, what is his name? The French give him on his mask. Oh my god, it's really funny. Anyway, it's like speed or something in French. But anyway, Lightfoot says I can do without the Joe Pepper crossover. Well, sometimes you don't have a choice in these matters. Range Viper is just sitting there. Is sitting just there. Where am I? I tell you what, I'd love a Range Viper, actually, in general. If we're talking what we want in the Halloween costumes department, Fast Draw and Range Viper were not the first two on my mind, actually, but I'm kind of glad they've already been ticked off. Cesspool and Serpentor are great as well, actually. I'd love to see those done in some way. What we're saying, yes, is out of shelf space. What was your question? What was my answer? Oh, Fast Draw, yeah, big time. It would be great, wouldn't it? Hydro Viper costume would work for Joe Cons, Comic Cons, and Sci-Fi Cons. Yes, it would, Ryan. It would just work for me. It would just work for hanging out around the house, doing the gardening, that sort of stuff. Mindbender would look good as Mr. Potato Head. Diecast, Nick, that's actually quite genius. Dr. Potato Head. That's Dr. Potato. I didn't go to evil dentistry school for 11 years or however long they have to do it, just to be called Mr. Potato Head. And Horrorcons, indeed, yeah. I mean, most of the Joe things would work. You can go to any con and look like an absolute, like you're meant to be there with some of the Joe characters. Pythona. Baggy for the kids, big time, but like for us, toit. I would definitely rock a Pythona costume, definitely, and then do the whole infiltration. In fact, that might be. Shall I do Pythona for Christmas, or should I? No, I'm going to stick to Xandar for Christmas. That's my aim. I want to be in decent shape by Christmas to be able to pull off, Kitty said, a Xandar cosplay. And you know why? Because that dude has got most of it hanging out. Top half, at least, anyway. Imagine how much candy you could catch with webbed hands. Indeed, Rachel. Yeah, you could just, one webbed hand if you're going vintage. Dr. Spudbender. I like that one, Terry. I want to dress up as Globulus, but I don't have the body type. We need more fat Joes, says Buzz. Well, that's why I'm trying to not work out, but just not. I'm trying to get into better shape, is all I'm saying, before Christmas, so that I can actually start rocking some Xandar. I want to do like Xandar. I want to do Norgahide. I want to do. There's so many like cool ones I want to do, but they all have their bits out, don't they? The top bits out. Dr. Mind Potato. That's a good one, Jody, as well. I'm Bazooka in the early image run. Yeah, we all are. We all are, mate. We all are. Hello, eNewToBe. How you doing? For any people that are just tuning in, my apologies. We're doing the weekly a little bit in advance. I apologize that we can't do it tomorrow morning, but that's just how it is, I'm afraid. Sorry, guys. I thought I'd try and at least get a weekly out this week, so you weren't, high and dry from the content department. I'm close to once a man shape. Actually, that's impressive, Ryan. I mean, maybe not looking like, a snake, but like certainly he is ripped as once a man, like absolutely ripped. Potato. I like that's a good one for like a Serpentor potato head. Why haven't they done G.I. Joe potato head crossovers? I feel like they have, and I'm just forgetting about it. Maybe I'm just thinking about Funko Pops. I'm Lieutenant Falcon figure shape. Damn, Jody. Damn, that's impressive. Again, these, especially when they're doing the chin ups, and then like Red Dog helps him like with that's nuts. That is. I want to see that in real life. We would have to get past the main character costume hump. Yeah, it's going to be Snake Eyes, Destro, Cobra Commander. I don't know. We might see some good ones in there. We might see some different ones based on the fact they already have disguised costumes of G.I. Joe characters. Spud Eyes. Again, a good one, Rachel. We really need and totally, we really absolutely and totally need Cesspool. We do. We do. Anyway, that's disguised costumes. Fatal Fluffy is all I got. Thank you, 36 Cypher. But to be honest, that would be brilliant, wouldn't it? A Fatal Fluffy costume would be amazing. And they should do it like proper high level, high quality, furry vibe. So it was like you get in it like one of those Warhammer costumes, and you can see out of like another part of like its mouth or something. And it's just like big and furry and solid. Yeah, that would be phenomenal, actually. Let's do it. Let's do it like we're going to make it. Oh, Jody says, yeah, I'm in great shape and a face like an axe wound. I'm sure that's not the case, but I'm glad you're in. That's awesome. I'm glad you're in great shape. But no, that's brilliant. And the kids can dress as the little version of the Fluffy. That's so true, Pastor Bro. Yes. Or it just comes with one, like a little one that you like, a little plushy stuffed one. But yeah, kids, that'd be great. Little mini kid Fatal Fluffies and the big adult, like ridiculous Fatal Fluffy. That would be so good. So good. Sadly, I'm before he changes. Oh, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think whereabouts you are in the. Yeah. So we don't know what your face looks like then in that case. Joe Potato Head has potential, packaged with the Spud Masher vehicle. Amazing. The Spud Masher. Brilliant. You could use a Swamp Masher as an actual mashed potato sort of masher, couldn't you? I've often wondered why people have such a hatred of Ice Cream Soldier. I think it's because it was this is what my guess is. A lot of people didn't get the reference, the name reference. I think some people did. I just don't think I think a lot of people didn't. I certainly didn't know the reference as a kid, but I didn't hate it. Spud Cream Soldier. That's gross, isn't it? Spud Cream. This is mashed potato, isn't it? Basically, until it's a cream. Come on, I'm gonna stop talking about this. It's gonna make me hungry or throw up. One of the two. But I think that I've completely lost my train of thought on that one. What I was talking. Oh, Ice Cream Soldier. So yeah, obviously the reference being Vietnam reference, isn't it? But like for flamethrower specialists or soldiers. But in any case, I feel like it was almost sounded it was a little bit too kind of silly because the reference wasn't understood. I think that's probably where it came from. And now it's like, yeah, and now I think it's because Emily likes it, and that's just how our fandom works sometimes, unfortunately. Ice Cream Soldier is pretty cool, actually, though. The actual figure, the details on the figure are really neat as well. Plus, there's the fact that the helmet there's a bit of mystery to the character. I don't think it necessarily needs the mystery. I think if we got Ice Cream Soldier again, which again would be awesome, let's do it. Then they could give him a character, face, all that kind of good stuff. Did he show up in any media? Is a good question, right? Because I don't remember him. I don't remember him in the Marvel run. He might have been, but I don't remember him really showing up. And again, Ice Cream Soldier was a name that Larry had utilized for one of the. Was it like the kind of precursor to Joe, like the kind of like when they were like working on the when they were working on like the kind of precursor to Joe, I'm sure he had like, was it Fury Force? I want to say that Fury Force had an Ice Cream Soldier in it. No, it was what am I talking about? It was Extreme, wasn't it? Or Savage? Was it Savage or Extreme? Again, I can't remember. But Ice Cream Soldier has appeared before we got Ice Cream Soldier the figure. In any case, I'm getting confused, and I'm doing that thing where I'm on a live and I'm trying to recall things, and that's just impossible. So let's move on. We've done Disguise now. That was a nice bit of extra news that you weren't expecting, wasn't it? Next up, let's talk about video game news. Yes? Yes, GAMESIndustry.BIZ interviewed the Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast head of digital product development, Dan Ayub. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, actually. I need to find out. It could be like Ayu, and the B could be like, silent. But that's by the by, isn't it, really? On their website, that's GAMESIndustry.BIZ, regarding Hasbro's venture into in-house video game development and the 4 current studios they have, including Atomic Arcade and the Snake Eyes AAA video game, which I've got to say is making me very moist at the thoughts of this game. Now, I know there's all that kind of thing that there's got to be some sort of tempered expectation thing here. Like, and I'm impossible. I'm the worst because I get excited about things when I hear that they're happening, even if they're like, even if I know that deep down it might not be great. Like, for example, I'm still going to get excited over the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover movie, right? It's going to happen. I'm going to get excited about it. I'm going to get all like, funny with it. And then, we'll get to the point and it'll be crap. And then it'll be like, well, we told you so. And I'm like, yeah, but part of the enjoyment of this hobby is that excitement. And I know there's that thing of like, if you've been burned like more than what, it's, I get it. I understand. But I've also got to say that I'm going to be happy and excited for this hobby, no matter what it is, because at the end of the day, it might lead to something else, or it might be good. And in this case, I think they're putting the money where they're putting their money where their mouth is, I think is the correct term. Why have I blanked on that? One of the most famous sayings of all time. Ryan says, so is Lobotomax a Vietnam reference too? I have no clue. Oh, Blackstar didn't show up either. No, he didn't, did he? Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with some more of the comments. Hi, Chris, new fan. Thanks for the great interview with the Hasbro team. Thank you for watching, Kicktoy. I'm happy that you're enjoying it, and also that you're a new fan. I sort of thought I'd got all of the new people that ever wanted to watch anything I do. So it's always nice to hear there are new people jumping on. That's great. Thank you very much, Kicktoy. And I hope you enjoy this episode as well, even though it's not really a fun interview with the Hasbro team. We are already setting up another one though, which is pretty exciting. We're not sure yet whether to approach it mid-June or after June. The problem is you could have it after June, but then you got SDCC coming in. You could have it after July, but then you got PulseCon around the corner. So I think what we'll probably end up doing is one in and around June, one following SDCC, and then one following PulseCon. That's probably what we'll do. And then anything else that happens, like any reveals or pre-orders, whatever, well, they'll be pre-orders mainly, won't they? We'll just kind of we'll wait until those points in the year, but we are like lining up a lot of stuff in advance, which is nice this time. But thank you so much. That's really, really nice. I appreciate the lovely comment. Thank you, Kicktoy. Still wanting an MMO FPS RPG Joe game, Jody. Yes, I think if this is successful, which it could be, I don't know, but it could be. It would lead to more things, wouldn't it? And I'm not necessarily saying we'll get all the different types of games out there, but you never know. They might want to have a studio that has multiple G.I. Joe games under its belt, and that could be multiple formats for Joe. It could be like, yeah, like your AAA kind of like first person kind of situation. It could be an RPG. It could be, they could do all sorts of different things. And the problem is these things take so long to develop. If they ain't starting them now, you're waiting a while. So I feel like they're putting everything into this game. And if it is awesome, then at least we've probably got like sequels to follow, Um, the movie might suck, but then again, it might not. Indeed, I'm excited for the Joe Transformers crossover toys. That's another good point, actually, Rachel. The fact that the movie, if you go and watch Justin, we did a monthly very recent on the 30th because we squeezed it right in there in the month of April. But Justin and I did a movie special monthly episode, and we basically talked about some of our favorite figures in the like movie figures. And I mean, Rise of Cobra had an amazing amount of freaking awesome toys in it. So did Retaliation. And so, obviously the animated movie had the vintage era was kind of backing it up with releases like Jinx and Falcon and Serpentor and what have you. Well, not Serpentor, he'd already been out at that point, but you know what I mean? Like there was product that was new because of the film. Law and Order is another one. So yes, what was I talking about? Yeah, so amazing toys, and that's the thing. A Joe Transformers crossover movie could give us a cool toy line. I mean, it just is the way of the world. I'm just checking out some more of these comments. Who's Juan following? I like it. That's a good one, Kick Toy. Do you think the Joe team will push the HasLab in June like the Star Wars team did? I don't know, actually, Stygian. I did talk about this yesterday. Not saying you should have been there and you should have been listening. I'm not at all. But just to preface, I have discussed this, and I would, with myself or with you guys, but I would think they have a plan. Each brand team have plans of where they want to, do things, where they want to have things, and I imagine there are elements of communication between brand teams. Of course there are. And when things happen, they're aware of it because they're in that environment and they know things are happening. They have to know things are happening at certain times. So I've got a feeling that even if they did move it, would that mean that everything else gets staggered? I don't think so. Sometimes they might have to look at it again and go, should we move it? And the answer is I don't know, because I don't know when it's actually happening. I don't know when it's happening. I've got a feeling it's probably going to be revealed in June because it's Yojo June, and it's it would make sense. But at the same time, you can't. If it would just create like, if the brand teams were to be connected HasLab wise like that, it would create such a concertina effect that it could throw off some major plans for what the teams are doing, which could cost money. So I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard one. And the funny thing is, as we've known from interviews and things in the past from ex-employees and information from that's come out in the past, Hasbro have been known to scrap things well along in development, almost into like production samples scrapped. And it's like, where does all that stuff go afterwards? Who bloody knows? But like at the same time, they have been known to just we'll move on, we'll do something else instead, and scrap a whole product line development which has been going for like a year and a half or whatever. So they have been known to do that. It seems like they don't really care too much if they have to scrap something. So it's hard to say. I'm not saying they're going to scrap the HasLab, but in terms of them, making big changes, we've seen them make big changes. But I don't know is the answer to that. Anyway, Snake Eyes video game news is what I'm talking about. There's Snake Eyes. Look at him. He's a Snake Eyes dude. Dan, I have said these things. The biggest thing to take away, which is honestly a little surprise to a lot of people, is that Hasbro is in fact making video games. And we have a considerable investment in our studio structure. We've got over $1 billion in games right now being developed. That is crazy pants. And I know it's still a bit small potatoes in the AAA video game environment. I get it. But this is where we wanted Hasbro to be going with it when this first came out. So I can't be, I can't be critical of them putting the money up for this, because they have done so and continue to do so. And this is games being developed right now over 1 billion. So it's only going to be more expensive eventually. He talks about a number of different kind of well, first of all, he talked about the fact that the company has 4 AAA studios right now. There's North Carolina-based Atomic Arcade, which is working on a Snake Eyes G.I. Joe game that Ayub calls "Not Your Daddy's G.I. Joe." And again, that's something that we've heard a few times with in like kind of like the marketing spiel a little bit with this, on interviews on the Atomic Arcade website with the different people that are involved in it, from kind of lead to all the way down to like development team and writing team and stuff like that. So we've had descriptions of what the game that they're trying to kind of create. We've had descriptions of it. Anyway, I'm pretty excited at the noises they're making. Now, again, this comes back to my conversation. Comes back to my point of the fool me once sort of situation, right? If you've been burned in the past, whatever, they say the right things all the time, or they at least try to. So they want to be kind of convincing that they're doing the right thing and they're in the right path and all that kind of stuff. Things happen, things change, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, over 1 bill in development, I can't argue with that at the moment, really. So does it always equal quality? No, it doesn't, because there are plenty of AAA games out there that go develop for blooming ages, and then nothing really. They come out and people are like, "Oh, this is crap," or "This needs this," or then they have to do some like patches or whatever. But at the end of the day, at least they're going in that kind of the right direction, I think, to make the best game possible. Hasbro is a 100-year-old company, and it's built on play. It's always been about play. It's always been about entertaining people, and gaming is the predominant form of entertainment for a lot of people, and it's something that just continues to grow. So in a lot of ways, it makes sense for Hasbro to be in this space. It does, absolutely. And they have had a lot of recent success in kind of like outsourcing, for some, like Baldur's Gate 3 kind of comes up a few times in this article. Um, you know, was it Monopoly? But anyway, there's a lot of like positive success that they've had in gaming, and I think that's why they went sort of in this kind of direction with the GI Joe brand and the Snake Eyes game. Wonder if we'll see O-Ring from Super 7 at Joe Fest. Yes, he said that they'll have O-Ring. What are they called? They'll have something. They'll have something to show off, basically, Sid. They won't have. I don't think it'll be completed, but they're definitely going to have stuff to show off at WonderCon. It's not WonderCon. Sorry, Joe Fest. It's because you said Wonder If, and I'm like, but yeah, they'll have stuff to show off O-Ring wise. Dr. Evil works for Hasbro. $1 billion, indeed. Did they film the Lady J pilot before they scrapped it? I don't think so. I don't think it got past the. It was one of those things where it was like all the development stuff was in process, but it was never. I don't think they finished a script. I don't think they got anywhere near it, because they had already probably scrapped that when the with the commercial failure, basically, of the Snake Eyes movie. I'm pretty sure nothing was filmed, no pilot. No, I don't think anything was fully written anyway, past. So I wouldn't. There's nothing out there. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to find like a cheeky hidden leaked pilot sort of thing. No, yeah. The Snake Eyes cartoon, we know what that's all about, past the Pierogi, though, don't we? I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but we found out. Obviously, there was an article in His Tank, and in that article, it was basically describing this Brazilian expo that Hasbro Brazil had a presentation at, in which they showed a pitch deck for a GI Joe animated series. It was concept art that was used for the movie, like movie concept art that came out later, because the description of the artwork was spot on with everything going on in the concept art. And so like that was something that like the concept art wasn't known or wasn't out there, and then it just appeared randomly recently. We did a whole video on it, a whole kind of movie news burst on it, if you want to go check it out. But that whole Snake Eyes cartoon thing, no, there's no pilot, there's nothing. They effectively made a sort of motion comic with the concept art from the movie, is what happened. And it was very basic, and it was very short, and it was like, you know, very, very simple kind of stuff. I know you're swinging and missing all around on that one, Pass Bragi. But anyway, it's good to, I want you to know that information though, because again, I don't want you thinking there's pilots out there, because there aren't. Every plane flies itself. Right, so he said, next, one of the great things we took from the success of Baldur's Gate 3, so I told you it was in there, is that people really, really, really like a great, well-executed D&D game. So we've got something like that. And with Snake Eyes, while it's not a new IP, it's hopefully going to be a shot in the arm to the G.I. Joe franchise, and we can do some new things and express it in different ways in video games that we have traditionally, So what I'm really liking about that kind of thing is that it's not, I mean, I know a lot of people want sort of classified media, right? I feel like Skybound is giving us what we want with that. I mean, I am loving the Skybound comics so much. I am such a fanboy for Skybound comics. It has been a huge, like for me, reading these comics, I'm so excited every single week. I've got to read it that morning that it's out. I get most of mine actually on digital, if not all now. But yeah, like that is definitely one of those times when it's like, if I can't, I can't get to comic stores very easily around where we are. The nearest one, actually, well, there aren't close ones, I think, but my local should be Tim Finn's Hub Comics, but it is a bit of a trek. But that's definitely something I would love to go there and that be my, my local. But anyway, by the by, I think like we want classified media, but this probably won't be that. It's going to be something different by the sounds of things. And I know that concept art isn't really counting now. Like we're talking about the actual Wizards of the Coast concept art for a Snake Eyes game, for a GI Joe game pitch a while back that popped up. We had like two, like major images, with GI Joe on them, the logo, and then like some really cool stuff happening. One was like a mech hiss tank that Snake Eyes was jumping at, like, and he had like a prosthetic limb. One of his legs was kind of one of the kind of like blades, and then there was another shot of that kind of prosthetic limb in a close-up where they were kind of like Snake Eyes, the first-person shooter, Scarlet, and I think someone else, maybe it was just Scarlet. And then they're kind of like going into this kind of like industrial kind of hiss tank mech suit sort of factory. So I think I don't necessarily think it's going to be like that, but I think there's going to be some cool stuff about this game. I really want to, I'm going to reach out and see if we can get some sort of interview going with some of the people at Atomic Arcade, because I think that would be really worth having a talk with them and just seeing if there's any kind of new information we can glean out of that, because that's something that I really want to try and find out. So yeah, I'll be doing more work on trying to get hold of the Atomic Arcade crew. I think it would be cool if the game wasn't just Snake Eyes and you could pick from a few characters in there, or build a team of Joe similar to the Final Fantasy games. I get that. I don't know if they're leaning heavily on this being Snake Eyes, aren't they? I don't know what that means in terms of choice of character. Probably just Snake Eyes, but that's like a question I would like to pose to them, honestly. Skybound's been crushing. Sorry, that was Kick Toy. Thank you very much. Skybound's been crushing so much. I want Kirkman to lead a media coup of Paramount. Past the pierogi, I kind of wish Kirkman did that also. If they could get Kirkman involved in the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover, I know that's probably like impossible, probably is, but I think that would be great. Diana says, I think they want to focus on the Snake Eyes story, but I imagine there might be a few Joe NPCs. I'm sure there'll be a lot of non-playable characters in there, Diana, that are, you know, for the kind of the GI Joe decoration. Absolutely agree with you on that one. Passberry says, "I enjoyed Joe runs, especially the Chuckles Tripwire Frontline. So I have some faith in the game." Yeah, Brandon Joe has done some really good stuff. So I think he's good to have as the writer in there. I'm just, yeah, I think in terms of this game, I'm really excited, and I think the right people are in the right positions for it as well, which is good. And he says a common theme you're going to see amongst all of these studios is leadership and teams that have kind of done something that we're trying to do before. He says, noting that the leadership of Atomic Arcade works on Batman Arkham Asylum and is looking with Snake Eyes to do for that character something similar to what the Arkham games did with Batman. What's really funny, I find this happens quite often. How many videos have we done on this Snake Eyes game? For how long? It's been like a couple of years that we've been talking about this game and putting out videos. Probably about, I don't know, could be even close to about 10 or 15 videos on this particular subject, right? Maybe even more than that. And the other day I saw an article saying GI Joe is getting a computer game for the Batman, like as if it was like brand new information. But I guess maybe from a commercial point of view, you know, in terms of getting eyes on it, probably is new information. But I feel like this has been out for they've been developing this for ages. Like months ago, we got it was early this year, maybe at the end of last year, that they got the nod to go on to the next phase of development. Like, surely at that point, that's when you're saying, "It looks like there's going to be a Snake Eyes game." Like, like this interview comes out, and then all of a sudden, the main outlets are like, "Oh, there's a Snake Eyes game coming." It's like, yeah, for like years. But anyway, anywhosen. Hi, Tony's Figs, dropping in to say hello. Hello, Tony. How you doing? Can we get a Mario Kart style Dreadnought game? Rachel? Can you just go and work for our Atomic Arcade, because that would be great. Thanks. I'd love that. It'd be freaking awesome. A little cutesy Mario Kart racer, got a little thunder machine in there. You could just do it for GI Joe and have Dreadnoughts in it. That would be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But the thing is that GI Joe works in so many different platforms that haven't been done yet. Why don't we have a GI Joe beat 'em up, please and thank you? Why don't we have a GI Joe beat 'em up? GI Joe versus Cobra, the final battle or whatever, and it's that, you know, Street Fighter style, right? Why doesn't that exist? I don't know why that doesn't exist. Why we don't have a Transformers one of those either. I've seen some guys like almost like Custom Project, where he's kind of done a few, like he's like Megatron and Prime fighting in a sort of Street Fighter style, and they, you know, transforming for their special moves and firing cannons and stuff. It's just brilliant. Why is this not done? Why is it not developed? People would eat that up. Arcades would eat that up. I would eat that up. I want that in. I want it in here. I want an arcade beat 'em up for GI Joe and Transformers, please. Maybe even a crossover. Be freaking awesome. Okay, that by the by, a little Mario Kart racing game. Why isn't there a racing game that's cutesy, that has like cartoonish sort of like GI Joe characters in it? Why doesn't that exist? It just seems so obvious. And guess what? One of the most obvious ones has finally been done, or is finally being done, by the wonderful people at Maple Powered Games with Wrath of Cobra, and like that's been too long in coming. A sort of like Turtles Simpsons arcade sort of vibe, but with GI Joe. And finally, we've got it. And guess what? Everyone's going nuts about it and wants to play it and wants to purchase it on every platform. And it's like, oh, who would have bloody guessed? Do you know what I mean? Like, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get this brand with computer games into some brilliant areas. And a AAA is definitely one of the missing links. And like I said, I think a beat 'em up is missing. I think it would just be great, wouldn't it? It would just be great. Maybe Hasbro wants too much for the license. I don't know, Profit. I don't know, because look how much that license is getting utilized. It is everywhere. I don't think it's that expensive. I think there's a lot of the time, like it is comparatively, but I think there's negotiation to be had at whatever level you're at as well. I don't think it's just this is how much it is, get out. I think there has to be like a conversation, and if it's something that Hasbro like are into or like the thought of, then there's probably negotiation in there, just like anything. But I wouldn't say that it's like, you know, really crazy pants. It might be, but I don't think it is really crazy pants. Anyway, but again, you know, in terms of what they want to do, they want to make it as big as something, you know, like Batman Arkham games, and that's great for me as well. And then finally, he said everything's going to stay in the oven as long as it needs to. He says we're not going to rush anything out, and that's exciting for me to hear. Like that, they're not only are they putting the money up, but they're making sure that it's going to be right. And I hope that is something that they 100% stick with. Sorry, I've missed a few comments. What we're saying, Big Boa version of Knockout, genius. I think it's the fact that game developers were linked to Arkham Asylum. It brings a lot. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually. Comic C Cafe. Sorry. You're saying that the reason that it got that traction of like, oh, a Snake Eyes game is happening is because the game developers were linked to the Arkham Asylum games. But do you know what? They were linked to the Arkham Asylum games way back when we started reporting on it. Kind of clicked then. I think it's probably because it's got to that point. It's got to that stage of almost certainly happening. And now we're seeing things like Hasbro, multiple studios, over 1 billion. That's probably what's doing it. But you're right, 100%. I think having that connective tissue is giving them a real strong reason to report on it. Absolutely agree with you. Maybe Hasbro. Yeah, we've done that one. Sorry. I like the idea of a Mario Kart, but I think Twisted Metal is probably more applicable. Totally. But like, there's a lot of different things you could say that they could just throw G.I. Joe on, and it would make sense and be fun. And I know they've kind of tried to do it in the past, but I don't think it's always landed correctly. So one example I'm going to use here is a game that I absolutely adored, because I love Micro Machines, and the fact that they made G.I. Joe vehicles in that, like unlockable G.I. Joe vehicles in it, also made me really excited and happy. What wasn't too exciting about it was the fact that they put them up like really hard to get, like to unlock, like but you have to pay for them, and it was a lot of money. And I remember paying for those vehicles to be unlocked because I wanted them so bad. And then the game got kind of shut down. So it was like, you can't play it on your phone anymore. You can't, you know, I got it on the Xbox though. I definitely did, but not sure if I got to double check that, but I want to see if the G.I. Joe vehicles are on there. But, you know, like that, it was fun to play that game. I really enjoyed it. And when you completed a vehicle, it would, like, you know, lock it together and put the little screw in the bottom and lock it all. It was brilliant. Who's Lot of Money? But anyway, I think, yeah, like Twisted Metal. So but you can do multiple things with it. Like you could have a cutesy, cartoony vibe, but make the game good. Make it a racing game like Mario Kart, which is beloved throughout the universe and is fun. Make it Twisted Metal, you know, and make it like a bit more a bit grittier, but like, you know, vehicle based. They tried it with Toy Soldiers, but I think that kind of was, again, that fell flat, because I remember playing that and just being like, I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm not really enjoying this. And you have to kind of keep playing it to unlock other things again. And it's just like, I wanted to love it though. Definitely wanted to love that game, especially with like Master of the Universe in there and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, again, it fell flat. But it was like, you're missing all of the obvious home runs and you're trying these other things out, like microtransactions. Can we just hold fire on microtransactions? Because I feel like it just doesn't feel good to have to keep spending money on games that you already have, especially mobile phone games as well. Like, come on. Anyway, that by the by, yeah. Well, I think they're missing some real obvious things. They're finally getting it right with Wrath of Cobra, because that is a format that needed to happen. That's where your cartoony Joes live, and that it's great and it's perfect and it's going to be brilliant, right? Like I said, I think a beat 'em up would have been an absolute, knocked it out of the park. And I think definitely with both Joe and Transformers that needs to happen. And some sort of racing game would be cute. Yeah, I definitely think so. Anyway, I think the ones that they've tried just don't work for me. Battlegrounds was fun for collecting cards and stuff, but again, you had to leave it for ages before you come back to it to actually regenerate all of your usable stuff, so you could actually fight other, to actually complete the game. You had to leave it for a while or pay money for it. War on Cobra fell flat for me. Like, I just got to the point where I'm like, what am I even doing? Like, I feel like I'm just wasting time, not getting anything, not actually achieving anything. Or you get to a point, you're like, oh, I have to pay now, don't I? There's loads of games that they've been thrown into. Loads. Gunship Battle. I mean, it just the list is actually quite bonkers when you list them out. Brawlhalla, was it Strike, and then like there's so many that I'm like, I mean, Operation Blackout. Like I said, I was so excited for that one. I enjoyed playing it once, and then have I gone back to it? There's nothing to go back to. Once you're done, it's done. Fortnite is another one, yeah, big time. Like real like in and out, shake it all about. But anyway, the list is endless almost at this stage. But I think they're finally getting it right. It just had to be like, no, we need a really good AAA game and we need a really fun arcade experience. And we're kind of getting that now. Or it appears to be that way. So fingers crossed, we get something great out of these games. Right, moving on, because I've still got a little bit more to do. And next up, I can't even remember what's next up. It's probably it's listings news, isn't it? Hat'll be happy he's not here right now. Actually, yes, listings updates now. A Toy Kind of Mood did a brilliant interview with the Hasbro team and Emily, Lenny, and Tony, and they gave them two cheeky name-only reveals. One was vague in its like specificity, and so was the other one. But we've got more details, of course, as we always do around a new name-only reveal. Not always. Sometimes we don't have that one to unlock. But in this case, we do. So let's talk about what. First of all, massive shout out to Travis and the team at Toy Kind of Mood. They did a phenomenal interview. Link in the description if you haven't seen it. You need to see it, by the way, if you haven't. Pastor Prague says, "Boo, the spirit of Pat." Thank you very much. So we've got some information, obviously. Now, one of those name only reveals was obviously Cobra Commander. Now, Emily didn't state what type of Cobra Commander it was. We're assuming it's retro because we've had that listing for a while now, and just based on how they do their reveals, based on what's coming out, what's nearby, I would probably hazard a guess it's the retro Cobra Commander. Now, that doesn't mean, because she also said that they're doing a lot of Cobra Commanders, and even kind of like tongue-in-cheek said 2004 is the year of Cobra Commander. But like, I definitely feel like we're getting more Cobra Commanders. We'll probably have Battle Armor Cobra Commander at some point. That's not necessarily what she was talking about when she said that drop this one, but we don't know. If there are multiple Cobra Commanders coming, we have no idea which one was in her brain when she said, here's one for you, but we won't tell you what type of Cobra Commander. So effectively, we're just getting a ton of Cobra Commanders. I imagine a retro one. Obviously, we've got Once Man CC, which we know is happening and coming. And on top of that, we've got this. Oh, and then on top of that, you could have something like Battle Armor version 4, the kind of red mask one, or orangey red. There's just, there's a lot of options that could kind of come from that. But my assumption is that we've effectively unlocked or pushed Retro Cobra Commander into the official segment. Is all I'm saying on that one. I hope that makes sense for people. Now, the other one that was revealed, but before I move on, a couple of comments have come through. Do you think they will announce? This is from Paladin. Do you think they will announce a hit and run classified figure anytime soon? I have to think yes. At some point, we're going to get hit and run, and why not soon? I would be surprised if we don't see. Now, I don't know actually about hit and run. I haven't heard anything on the grapevine or anything like that, but I would be surprised if we didn't have a hit and run at least by 2025. Now, if we get out of 2025 without one, then almost certainly have to have it 2026. Almost certainly early 2020, because I feel like he's one of those characters that just has to be done in the G.I. Joe line. And as a classified figure, he's going to be phenomenal, isn't he? So again, that's one that I haven't heard of yet, officially or unofficially. But I would imagine I would be very surprised if we don't get him sooner rather than later. Kicktoy says, speaking of great interviews, that one was just as good as yours. How do you feel about Otter content providers reposting your interviews and acting as though they did it? Oh, I don't mind. Like I don't care if people take the interview right and they say, "Oh, this has happened," or "Well, that's happened," and they don't credit. I don't care at the end of the day. I'm like, I appreciate the comment though, Kicktoy. I get what you're saying, but like at the end of the day, I do not care. I'm not going to chase them. I'm not going to say like, oh, you should credit. It's just I've got better things to do at the end of the day, honestly. And like, it's not like I haven't. I utilize a lot of other people's content. I'll always try to credit them. If it's, I'll credit when I know what it is, and then I will say we don't know what it is yet, but we will credit when we find out, especially if it's time sensitive kind of leaky information. And sometimes we get stuff sent to us that we can't, like, they'll say we don't want to be credited, so that's another thing that happens. But for the most part, like, so if you're going to check the receipts or whatever, then for the most part, if we posted something that wasn't from us directly, we either credit it or we're told not to. So that's you're on that one. But like I said, if that channel does take our stuff and whatever, or whatever channel it is, I don't even know necessarily what you're referring to. I don't, because I haven't seen our channel utilized for that yet. But I don't really look either at the same time. So if you've seen something where it's happened, don't even worry about it, and don't even say, you don't even have to say anything, or like, if you guys are like on comments or whatever, and you feel like we're being wronged in some way, don't even worry about it. Don't say anything. It's not worth it, honestly. Like I said, I do this because I enjoy talking about it. I don't necessarily need like tons and tons of subs and stuff. It would be nice, but at the end of the day, I really enjoy talking about this and talking about it with my friends and talking about it with you guys and all that kind of stuff. I enjoy that aspect of it. So that's why we do it. That's why I do it. So if that's going to happen, it's going to happen. I'm not going to be able to stop it, really. I don't. It's not even my. I mean, certain aspects of the content are ours, of course, but for the most part, we're just talking about the same stuff everyone else is. The same official images or unofficial images, what have you. Anyway, so like it's probably worth mentioning that I don't pay attention to it, and I don't care at the end of the day. He says, biting his lip and crying off camera every single night. Okay, cool. Whatever. Like I said, doesn't bother me. Go nuts. Anyway, next up we have Night Force Falcon. Yes. So why Night Force, you say? Well, because we knew Night Force was coming, and we know that one of the listings is Falcon, and we know that it's Night Force Falcon. And Lenny said part of a 2-pack. He gave us all the information we needed, and we're filling in the gap on that one. So there you go. And with that image of Night Force Falcon on the screen, let's just get on over to the listings and discuss where those particular reveals are. So the first one, obviously, as you can see, is Retro Casey. As you can see, beautifully highlighted by my, there you go, by my yellow rectangle that goes around it. Very high tech, I would say. GIJ CS Retro Casey F9677 is Cobra Commander. We don't know the other two in that wave, but we know that's the next wave. And that's what we are expecting, basically. That's what we're expecting in terms of what Emily's talking about in the Cobra Commander name only reveal. But like I said, it was said in such a kind of way that insinuates there are going to be more Cobra Commanders as well. So maybe that wasn't what she was referring to. She might have been referring to another one that we might find out later. But there you go. The other one, of course, is Night Force Falcon, which unlocks HB Zorak, the Walmart 2-pack. Now, this is, as I've said in the past, I gave you the information a few episodes back where I revealed that Zorak, just as a little extra, which is funny actually that they gave that particular name only revealed to a Toy Kind of Mood, because I had revealed recently that Zorak was a character 2-pack, that specific one. It was like, what other bit of information can I give you? I'll just do that one, and then that's the one that kind of pops out there, which is great. Good timing for me. So then, yeah, in that sense, Night Force Falcon will be in a 2-pack, Walmart exclusive, with another character. And all I said on yesterday's listings update was that it is a enemy it's a Night Force Falcon figure and then an enemy figure. So it's a versus pack basically. And I'm not going to say who it is, but I will say, yeah, it's good versus bad. So in terms of Night Force Falcon, you're going to get, and it's character based, so it's not a troop builder like Whip Snakes is, that we know that's a troop builder 2-pack. We just don't know what it is yet. But yeah, so you can speculate as much as you like, but I won't be giving any more information away on that one until there's another either leak. I mean, you never know. You might find, like, in the same way that the Pulse, not the Pulse, well, I'm saying Pulse now because I think it is, but the Pulse exclusive Low Light Spirit 2-pack, which I think is scrappy because of that. You might get a leak like that, and then we'll go, well, there you go, then that's it, and then we can fill in the listing. But unless that happens, or a name only happens again before it comes out, then we'll be keeping that one quiet. But yeah, I do also expect Falcon to have a new head sculpt, because it was brought up in the interview, and I don't think Lenny would have even said Falcon had, the fact that it was brought up in the interview that the head was an issue, or that the figure was an issue. Why would he make a big deal out of it? Clearly it's going to have changes, clearly. So I think that one, you can expect a different head sculpt. Maybe that's a good one, Kick Toy. Maybe, so there you go. That's what I would expect. 49 O'Brien, I would expect so, based on, if you've watched the interview, like I said, why would Lenny be excited to tell you guys there's another Falcon coming after they just discussed the fact that that specific Falcon figure was discussed on that interview? So yeah, I think it's going to happen. Yeah, right. So that is everything updated on the 2024 listings. We still don't know any more on 2025, other than that stuff that we introduced a little while ago about Sewer Urchin being a Fanmazon release and Arthur Deluxe being SDCC. So it means that the TT designation means, kind of exclusives that aren't Target and Walmart, basically. They did say that wave when they were talking about Cobra Commander, because they were like, who else is in that wave? But that was another good point, actually. And because Cobra Commander is in a wave of retro figures, I don't know, it makes me feel like, yeah, that could work. Anywho, that's all we know right now. Other things, I suppose, the Selfie series listings, which again, I'm just going to say right now, I'm gonna, I say this every single episode, I'm gonna remove this for the next episode, because I don't think it's necessary in there. Should be in there. I think they're planned and canned. What I might start doing is take this image out, put the listings in as like almost like they're in there, but they've been like crossed out sort of thing. That's what I might do. I'm sure they will, 49 O'Brien. Oh yeah, everyone hates it. I hate it, and I don't hate anything. Like, I am like such a blooming simp for this line, and I couldn't stand that head sculpt. Still bought him, but at the end of the day, I was very disappointed in Falcon, and I want another Falcon, definitely. Bypass the pierogi. Have a great weekend. To everyone as well. Have a great weekend, everybody. Anyway, the name only reveals I've changed the graphic for. I just changed the graphic because I wanted it to be more up to date. So Night Force Falcon is in there and Retro Cobra Commander is in there. But again, you could probably have about 20 Cobra Commanders in there now, couldn't you? Anyway, that is name only reveals. We know what's coming. Done. Digital renders. Really excited for the next Dragonfly update. I think it's going to be soon. Don't have a date yet, but I think it's going to happen before Yojo June. Fingers crossed. They might start doing that kind of like, you know how that marketing push they did, like with the His Tank and those kind of like funny little intercepted transmissions. Maybe we'll get something like that soon. So fingers crossed. Do you guys think we're going to get an armored CC? I do think we are eventually. I don't know where or when, and we don't have an official or unofficial like bit of information about it, but I do think we're going to get armored CC at some point. The guy is too iconic not to be involved, honestly. And it's a Cobra Commander. You can't go wrong with another Cobra Commander figure in there for them as a company. It's a mainline character. It's one that people know and love and want, and want to. And there are so many like single character collectors, and I imagine there are tons of Cobra Commander only collectors. So it makes sense on so many levels. So there you go. Night Force Ripcord, Glenda, and Night Force Crazy. Hoping to see some information about these figures very, very soon. Fingers crossed. It's before Yojo June, but even if it's in Yojo June, whatever, we're going to get something soon, is what I'm saying. And then, of course, the unofficial leaks haven't changed. Still sort of in that vibe. Yeah, nothing really to say on that. We're still in this zone with these. I'm kind of hoping for some more unofficial leaks somewhere, but just to add to the graphic, really. And that's pretty much it. Right, I think that's everything. That's everything for the listings. Yeah, let's move on to shout outs, and then we'll call it an evening. Have you tried Hoarder yet? No? Well, you need to. If you have a collection of things and want to create a fun and easy way of organising it and of course showing it off, then get involved. You can post items and build collections, and you can drop a status like getting a fun delivery or seeing some awesome related stuff on your travels. Build your collections with Hoarder. The app is free to download on Google Play and the App Store, so what are you waiting for? Get to hoarding. Ryan has just popped in a cheeky question there. Didn't Emily's wording suggest both Retro CC and Once a Man were 2024 releases? Does that up the chances Once a Man is Fred Deluxe? Very possibly, is all I'll say on that one. I don't know. So, I mean, I know what you're saying, and I think you're probably right. But it could also be the case where we just don't have the listing for that Once a Man Cobra Commander, and it's probably going to be like an additional one, possibly. But it could very well be Fred Deluxe, because what have we said in the past with listings is that one thing that kind of comes up a lot is the fact that the most obvious answer is usually the most obvious answer is usually the right one. The one it's usually staring in your face, and then when you find out afterwards, you're like, "Oh, that's obvious. Why the hell didn't we think of it?" And again, they're not always on the nose with the code words, but Fred could be like a nice, "Oh, well, let's use that for for a Cobra Commander figure." It would make more sense for some sort of Fred figure, but again, that would make more sense to be Battle Armor Cobra Commander. But again, that would be really on the nose, wouldn't it? Either way, I do think she did sort of word that in that sense, and that we'd be getting multiple Cobra Commanders the year. She said, "Wouldn't the 2024 is the year of Cobra Commander?" She said. So maybe she was saying that because she revealed that Once a Man Cobra Commander was coming in 2024. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen in the figures. on the line plan for 2024. Again, the wording, you could look at it multiple different ways. I'm not saying you're wrong, Ryan. What I'm saying, I'm kind of like looking at all of the possible outcomes. But great question, and it's very possible yes is the answer to that. I can't wait for Crazy Legs in his normal colors. Will happen, Jody. It'll happen sooner than you think, I'd imagine, as well. Wanting the original leader of GI Joe. Really want the original GI Joe team leader, General Flag, says Johnny. Yeah, General Flag would be great. I'd like to get a General Flag kind of like OG kind of one to go with like an OG 13 sort of vibe. And I want General Flag's, the son of General Flag. That would be really cool as well, who's also General Flag. Jeremy just got here. Go ahead and start over. No. Sorry, dude. Prophet says, thanks for a fun stream. Off to listen to Toy Kind of Interview. Later, y'all. Oh, well, I haven't finished yet. But okay, that's fine. That's fine. You go do that. Come back and watch the end bit later. Now, shout outs. I'm going to shout out Pat and Phil, of course. Articulated Points. Pat usually on the show with me. Obviously couldn't jump on today. We were going to do tomorrow morning, but obviously we can't. So I had to do a quick and dirty solo mission. But massive shout out to Pat and to Phil. Go check out Articulated Points. It's great. There's actually a recent video that Phil put up about Harley Quinn figures, which is interesting as well. So go check that out right this second. Darren Marshall just got here too. Man, you guys are late. So sorry. Rogue KT21 says they have made Crimson everything else, so a Crimson Cobra Commander could be coming at some point. Easy repaint of the original or the retro sculpt. Agreed with you on that one, definitely. Dirty solo mission. I know. I say the sickest things. Anyway, shout out to Pat. Shout out to Phil. You guys rock. Also to my wonderful wife Kate and Phoebes. Going to enjoy our weekend. Going to see the family, the US side. Going to see the in-laws. Can't wait for that. They're going to come and stay with us. So hopefully have a great weekend with that. I'll sneak away every now and again to do 25 news bursts a day, but it's not, come on, let me enjoy my family for a little bit. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll be back to normal after that. But you never know, we might squeeze something out in that time. They're aware that the G.I. Joe news universe is it's an important thing. You need your news, you need your your updates. So do we stream the same time on a schedule? Not even close. We'll do the weekly on a Saturday morning at 10 a.m. usually. My apologies for not doing it. 10 a.m. Eastern. That is usually locked in. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it this time. But everything else is just as soon as I can get back and not break the news, but do the news. Like we'll tend to post things on socials in advance, and then to as in the news part, like, oh, this has happened, or share this or share that. And then when I get home, if it's important enough, we'll do a news burst. But yeah, it's very haphazard in the timing schedule. But most of the time, if something big happens in the day, we'll news burst about it that night. And then we do other things like monthlies, which is once a month, obviously, and sometimes we'll sneak it in right at the end when I've realised, oh, I haven't thought about that yet. My bad. We do comics news kind of as well every now and again sometimes. But what's the other thing I'm blanking on here, guys? It's mainly just news bursts. Let's talk classified figures we do as well. So anyway, there's lots of content and interviews, redacted interviews. So, we get as much out there as humanly possible. Anyway, thank you to my wonderful wife, Kate, and can't wait to hang out with the in-laws this weekend. It's going to be great. And also, massive shout out to my UK fam as well. Miss you very much. They're going to be coming out in June of all months. Yeah, June. Yojo June, probably the busiest time for any sort of person doing content creation for the G.I. Joe brand. But they're just going to be involved in most of the episodes, aren't they, basically? So big shout out to them. Now, massive shout out to Brian Sauer as well. Does all our wonderful graphics. See these beautiful shockwave graphics going on at the moment. And of course, he also runs Assembly Required, which is an in-person, real life G.I. Joe convention in Des Moines, Iowa. It'll be the 13th annual one this year, and it's going to be very Iron Grenadier related. But also, it's going to be so that's 8th and 9th of November 2024. They also do an Operation Armor event, which is an online version, which happens sooner. And that is he's given the dates. I've forgotten off the top of my head, but you can be able to find it on the Codename Iowa's Facebook page and all that kind of jazz. So don't worry, it's available. But Operation Armor 4 is happening. It's Eco Warriors related. And check this out. This is the gear kit. Now the gear kits are amazing. They do these amazing gear kits for most of their shows, and you can order it in advance so that you can kind of like play along with what's going on with the actual Operation Armor, which is a streamed event online. And the what was I going to say? Yeah, and the gear kits come in all these kind of crazy kind of shapes and sizes, and because it's Eco Warriors, look how awesome! Look at what they've done here. Brian does some great artwork as well, and he's done all of this artwork for all this kind of stuff. This is Arbco Industries Chemistry Lab Kit for kids, and on there you've got like what looks to be a Dr. Venom type, probably is Dr. Venom, and obviously all the kind of like it's just genius what they do, and I love what Brian does with the artwork and all of the graphics. It's his next level quality, and this box opens out to reveal an Eco Blimin, the Eco Warriors Blimin, you know, the friggin' playset, which I've completely forgot, the Toxo Lab, which is great, isn't it? Like, look at that thing. That's just a box interior that then doubles as a diorama. Absolute genius. And there's loads of stuff that comes with it as well. So they said, know what box you'll never want to recycle? The Arbco Industries Chemistry Lab Kit. This mostly child-friendly product from Arbco, maker of decent goods for more than 40 years, not only holds all of the gear kit items, but also folds open to become the Arbco Chemical Factory backdrop. Inspired by the unproduced playmat as seen in the 92 catalogue, the playset depicts the inner workings of the factory floor and features plenty of Easter eggs to find. Available exclusively in the Armor 4 gear kit. Pre-order yours today at codenameiowa.com/store. Go check it out. It's going to be awesome. Charlotte, I'll be at assembly required again this year. Brilliant. Chris, tell your English fam to fly into Augusta. Unfortunately, Rachel, that's not going to be the case, is it? But, you know, who's Dewey streaming? And the occasional crossover with Moody and Co. Yes, of course, Chris, we do that as well. Anyway, Murphy says, happy Friday, only 22 more news bursts till Monday. That's very true, actually, if you follow this channel. Anyway, go check it out. Go get a gear kit because they're great. And they fill it up with all sorts of cool stuff, like cards and there's just stickers and let me think, like weapons and accessories for 4 and 6 inch figures. Loads of cute little kind of things. Like for ages we were doing little cereal boxes, and like actually like full on little cereal boxes that you could fold and create as cereal boxes, and they were like G.I. Joe themed and everything. They're great, but all sorts of cool stuff, artwork, prints, all sorts of cool stuff, t-shirts, everything they squeeze into this little gear kit, and it's amazing. Lots of different levels as well that you can kind of get in on, but you can check that out at their store. Like I said, codenameiowa.com/store, and I think link is in the description as well. Go check it out. Massive shout out to Skeletron for posting a little update as well. They had the 6-inch Red Shadows Direwolf Gary Goggles test shot, which looks amazing. That's great, isn't it? Unbelievable. Matthew says, I've loved every set I've gotten from Brian. Yeah, same. Brilliant sets and brilliant dios, and everything is really cool about them. But yeah, so some great updates again. Direwolf, and then of course we've got Bloodwolf, Bob Breakin, his test shot, which is phenomenal as well. These figures are going to be so amazing. Like, oh, I can't wait for this. And obviously the vehicle as well. Factory test shot revisions for this Robo Skull. It's getting closer, guys. It's getting closer. And they're still on track with the previous, I think that was before Christmas. They gave like a layout of what to expect in terms of the delivery and all that kind of stuff. And they are still on track. So, very excited and cannot wait to get the vehicle. And I don't think you get the dog in the background, which is a shame because that is an adorable pupper in the background. But of course, like I said, Blood Wolf and Dire Wolf as well, just looking great at 6-inch scale. So massive shout out to Skeletron. And also wanted to shout out In Demand Toys, my good friends Nick and Mass and the rest of the crew at In Demand Toys. They're going to be at MCM Comic Con on Friday the 24th to Sunday the 26th. And Hasbro are going to be with them as well. They're going to have a big old booth, and Hasbro are going to be with them, which is awesome. So that's all really cool. And I was just really proud of the guys for the amazing work they've done in building a very incredible like toy retail space in the United Kingdom. Their store is incredible as well. If you ever get the opportunity, you're ever in Norwich in the United Kingdom, go and check them out. The store is amazing. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So massive shout out to Nick, Mass and the rest of the crew at In Demand Toys. They're going to be with Hasbro at MCM Comic Con in London. Like I said, 24th to the 26th of May. And also massive shout out to Paul Pamphilone, Plastic Battles, who posted another beauty of a shot, which he's created this awesome dio, kind of like tunnel dio for Tunnel Rat specifically. And it's really cool. If you go check him out on his Instagram page, at Plastic Battles, you might be able to see some of his old kind of recordings and videos where he does Thursday night battles. And on those videos, he does go into some details about this stuff. And he showed this about, I want to say like maybe a month or a couple of months ago. And the dio is really cool. He was building it, showing what he did with it, and it just looks amazing. And again, more phenomenal work here for Tunnel Rat. And I can't get enough of Paul's work. He's phenomenal, and I love his toy photography. And again, there's so much toy photography in the world. It's all amazing, but obviously, also Paul's a good friend. So yeah, there you go. That is Plastic Battles, Paul Pamphilone. Again, brilliant stuff. I wonder if he's going to link up at any point with the Tiger Force crew, who are kind of like in a little narrative of his at the moment, where he's taking some pictures of those figures. They just met up with Bazooka as well if you go and watch the last weekly, and that's another incredible diorama that he built, and that's worth checking out as well, just to kind of see how he did it and the size of the effing thing. It's massive. Anyway, brilliant stuff, Paul. Love it as always. That's it. Right then. Thank you guys for jumping on with me for this rather impromptu Friday evening weekly. Nothing on Saturday morning, I'm afraid. But we will. I'll try and stay on top of things. You know how it is. But sometimes you have to enjoy life a little bit sometimes, and I might have to do that this weekend. But if anything happens, I'll be there. So, word. Thanks to everyone, all of the listeners, all the viewers, everybody that supports us. We really appreciate it. And we can't get enough of all the kind words. Really can't. So if you want to just give us some more kind words, that's perfect. Are we wearing kilts to AR for the IG theme? Says Charlotte. I think that's going to have to happen. That might have to happen. I'm going to say right now, I want to do it in November. That's the plan. I'm not going to completely. That's the aim. We want to do AR in November. So, if that's the aim. So if so, then the kilt is coming. Kilt's coming. Kilt by November. Right. I'm not doing that one, Scott. I don't even know what I said. Who's Nathan Saturday morning? Oh, did I say nothing Saturday morning? That's actually genius. Benjamin Yoon says more kind words. There you go. Brilliant. Thanks, Benjamin. That's exactly what I meant. Anyway, have a great rest of your evening. Have a great weekend. I'll see you when I see you next. Don't know when that'll be, but it'll be Stay Fresh Cheese Bags. And as always, you know what to do. After 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Laters. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on X, formerly Twitter, @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page, facebook.com/TheFullForce. We've also added a brand new Instagram, so check us out there as well, @TheFullForce Podcast, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.